took a ride to my buddy's place the other day to pick up a piece of wood that he had discarded, and it set in motion something that I did not expect. Join me in watching my process in creating this piece called First Bloom. When my friend called me the other day, he asked if I had ever worked with lilac before. In my artwork, I typically work with uncommon woods, so the time I work with sagebrush. So the opportunity to work with lilac was intriguing to me. So I hopped on my e-bike, rode over to his house to take a look at this branch. Just by the offcut, you could tell that it was going to hide something magical. I haven't known anybody to work with lilac in the way that I planned on it. I was very excited for the opportunity to work with lilac. Here in Wyoming, lilac is one of the first plants to blossom. It has beautiful purple flowers that are clustered together. And since it's the first one to pop up in spring, the bees are buzzing around it. The birds are fluttering about, and it's our first chance to see a little bit of color after a long, cold winter. It didn't take long for me to start working with this piece. I was very excited for what it would reveal when I cut into it, and I was not disappointed. The grain was long and straight. The sapwood was very light colored, almost like maple. The heartwood was a light tan, and the biggest reveal of all, the little streaks of pink that lay in the heartwood. To work making my thin veneers, prepped them, and started the slow process of bending them into shape that they wanted to be. I knew that I wanted this piece to flow and be elegant. Visuals of ballet dancing came to mind with this piece. I wanted to highlight the flow of a ballet dancer as they twirl. Once I get a piece taped in place, I do a preliminary steaming with a handheld steam cleaner to help me bend it in its rough shape. I then tape the pieces together to get a visual of it. This is typically the time where I sit and just stare at the piece, and I let it tell me what it wants to be. In this case, I referred to the sketch that I drew. After the initial mock-up, I could tell the proportions weren't right. I wasn't inspired by this piece yet. I knew it had something else to give. So after staring at it for several minutes, I got an idea of what needed to happen. So I taped it into better shape, got back to steam bending, and went to work. I always love seeing these pieces come together. The final piece comes together, I think about how many times I rode past a bush like this, not giving it a second thought, something that we see every day, not knowing that inside held this beautiful grain. That's what I love about the pieces that I make. The goal of my art is to expose the inner beauty of the mundane or the seemingly everyday. Lilac is no exception to that. It's something we look at every day and don't give a second thought. But after creating this piece and the many pieces I'll make after this, when I drive by the lilac bush, I'll think about what hides inside of its grain.